Well, crypto's dumping. It's pretty bad right now. We're going to talk about the key levels to watch here for Bitcoin, for ETH, for Sol. We're now right now approaching some pretty key and interesting areas. Why is everything taking a jump off the cliff again? Well, now we have a regional banking crisis that's brewing. Fantastic. Got a lot to talk about, so we're hop straight into this. Answering your question, of course, second half of the stream and throughout the stream too, obviously. So let's go ahead and hop in. So quick room temperature check, and you guys let me know in the comments here as well in the chat. Bear market starting. 31% of the 5,000 respondents in the last couple hours said bear market starting. It's on. 43.7%. It's just the dip. The bull run is still on. Quarter of people just FML, man. FML. Ay. Slay down here. It's really over, man. It's over. Game over, man. Game over. Peak Baxton. Anyway. Nobody special says regional banks have been flashing red, and much of it coincides with recent bankruptcies of Tricolor and First Brands. Okay, so we can see Western Alliance Bank, Bank California, all these banks taking huge hits in the market yesterday. Okay, this is sparking concerns about a wider crack starting to appear in the financial system. Okay. Just Darius says all developing as expected due to a shutdown stretching longer and longer. Liquidity is quickly drying up in the banking system. As a result, banks have to refill the liquidity gap, borrowing from the Fed's standing repo facility. Almost $7 billion borrowed in the last session. That's big. Okay. Damn. MV Kuna, is the market really correcting because of regional banks? Even though major US banks just reported great Q3 results. Much like the last banking crisis, we had the big banks basically start absorbing the smaller banks again. Kind of what keeps happening. Marty saying getting close to liquidity crisis that forces the Fed to step in with stimulus. How they will, if the regional banking crisis becomes more than just a headline scare, if the regional banking crisis becomes something much more substantive with actual regional banks, many of them going under, let's say, well, then the Fed's obviously going to have to step in and shore everything up because that's how the system works. They can't just let banks fail all over America, can they? No, and they won't. They'll have to step in. Now, if that is what ends up happening, okay, if that's what ends up happening, then between now and that time, whenever the Fed announces some kind of bailout program for those banks, or the Treasury steps in, whoever it might be, you're going to have a lot of market volatility, okay? I know what you're thinking. Shit, Lark. Didn't we just have the tariff drama, the trade war brew between China and America? Now we got to have this bullshit too. Oh, yeah, we have to have this bullshit too. You can't have nice things, okay? Swimmer Sink says bull run into 2026, triple clown face. It's not over yet, man. It's not over yet. Look, crashes in the market, big dips, big corrections are always effing scary, okay? Every time it happens, everybody thinks it's over forever. And there are some worrying things in the charts that we do need to discuss today, okay? To be clear. So let's get into that in a minute here. But still, a lot of the macro lines up these banking scares, again, unless it becomes something completely systemic, right? That's always a possibility, and that's the fear. Likely, this would be like 2023. We saw bank crashes, and then immediately the U.S. government stopped stepping in to backstop the banking system, okay? Continuing. This is the VIX. This is the volatility index for the S&P 500. Currently, it is correcting. Now, we peaked at 28 today. Now, I just want to take you back a little bit in history here on this, because you can see all the way back here. There we go. Slowly updating there. This 22nd of March, 2023, the volatility index got to, well, almost the same levels, around 29 or so. This was the banking crisis. I don't even remember what the name of the banks were anymore. A few banks went under. This was the spike there. That was the banking crisis, okay? 22 March 2023. I wonder what Bitcoin was doing at that time. Just out of quick curiosity. Why don't we just have a little look? I think it's the weekly chart here. We're going to come back to that in a minute because there's some very interesting things to talk about on the weekly chart there, but just out of quick curiosity. 2023, April, March. All right. During that time, Bitcoin went from 21,000 to 30,000, up 50% in the weeks following the banking crisis. Now, obviously, there's no guarantee that will happen again, but it did sell off into the banking crisis as well. People obviously got spooked for good reason. Came back down and bounced, okay? Just FYI. Bring it back to the Bitcoin charts here in a minute, though, okay? John says, Mr. VIX is up nearly 20%. If this holds to the 4 p.m. close, which it did yesterday, based on 25 years of backtested data, there's a 90% chance a rally will occur in the S&P 500 in the next 2 trading days, Friday or Monday. Okay? Would be in full bull under Kamala. I disagree. Crypto be dead, but the stocks might be doing good. They did well anyway. Sean says, Larkus, thank you for your help in education. With trading 4 years ago, I never thought I'd be making money from this, but here I am. Nice. Nice. Good. Sold my BTC from my buys at 25,366. Love hearing it, man. Sean, love hearing people making money, man. Beautiful. Beautiful shit. Good, man. Good. Make the money, guys. U.S. stock futures were down 0.87% currently. Earlier in the day, I think we got down as low as around minus 1.5% or something like that. So we've come back up a little bit. Obviously, U.S. Open's still 2.5 hours away, so a lot can happen between now and then. Massive fear in the market, okay? So we've gone just a few percent off of all-time highs here for the equity markets, and we've already hit extreme fear. Yeah, that's crazy. Doesn't even make any sense. China says it plans to work with the United States to find a solution on trade. Of course they're going to. Does anybody think that that's not what's going to happen? A trade war benefits neither of them, and everybody loses. You know what benefits everybody? A deal. And they're going to puff up their chests and make a bunch of noise so they can go back to their constituents and both say, yeah, we took these guys to the, to the cleaners here, and we got the best deal possible. We got a big win. And both sides will say that. Okay. Andrew Tate saying Bitcoin's going to $26,000. That would require a massive stock market dump. And basically the bear market is here and it's over. Lark, am I smart to sell all my altcoins at the bottom to buy the top of gold? Graham, I think you know the answer to that question. Continuing. This is an interesting one. Kira No BS Crypto posted this, something to consider on this bearish day. So this is the world manufacturing cycle, which is the blue line, blue histogram. Industrial versus precious metal prices is the orange one. Well, I guess red. It's red, isn't it? And the orange one's the price of Bitcoin. What's interesting is that the metal index is not just gold. It includes stuff like copper and stuff like that too, right? Anyway, I know you're just joking, Graham. I know. Look, that's very interesting. Now we can see right here, we just got a flip over for world manufacturing cycle, something that has not happened in a while because, well, everything's been pretty much shit for a long time. Look at the ISM PMI. It's still under 50. Okay, the business cycle doesn't even really start until that goes over 50. The major expansion period of the business cycle. Anyway, not saying nothing's happening in the business cycle. The major expansion part of the business cycle doesn't really happen until that ticks over, and that's just starting, right? So that's very interesting. Virtual Bacon, Dennis, shout out, man. What's up? The play is simple. Run up gold, make it look unstoppable, get every retail investor chasing the shiny rock, then move into the only real asymmetric trade left, Bitcoin. Bitcoin isn't dead. It's being suppressed on purpose. They want you to sell. They want you chasing golden stocks. Gold. This is a fascinating chart. Sometimes remove the emotions. Just look what's going on here, okay? Gold has had an incredible run. So this is drawing Fibonacci's from August 2011 down to the bottom here, $1,000 in December 15. And look, it took years. Gold moves very slowly. It's a $30 trillion asset class now, okay? It doesn't move in big leaps and bounds like the crypto market does, okay? So we had our initial move back up, got back up here to break even on the new highs, but not very much. And then we had the liftoff here in November 23. Things started moving for gold. Okay, and we got up to the 1.618 Fibonacci line, chilled out, rallied again. We got to the 2.618 Fibonacci line. Now we've gone straight parabolic into likely a final leg here for the gold move again. I'm not saying it can't go higher, There's extreme euphoria and mania right now around gold, but we have hit the 3.6-minute Fibonacci line. Can it go up to the 4.236 line? Sure. Can. Not guaranteeing that happens, but it is now getting pretty damn overbought at these levels. Let's just put it that way, okay? So a lot of people are rushing in to buy the intergalactic top on gold because they think that the world's about to collapse. And hey, you know what? Maybe they're right. Egg on our faces. World collapses. All these guys buy gold at $4,300 and it goes to $20,000 an ounce. Man, probably not. Probably not. Okay. Gammy chain. Look at all the times just in the past few years where gold stalling corresponded with a strong final leg up on the SPX that was followed by a correction. I believe we see this again. Whenever gold stalls, equities and crypto is going to rip hard. Some price action like what Paul Tudor Jones recently called for. Okay. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Okay. So you can see here in these big gold moves previously when they start faltering. Here's a good example. Back in mid-2024, that gold move starts faltering and then equities start ripping. Okay. And then gold catches up again and then it pulls back and equities rip again. So it's interesting. We'll see if that plays out again this time. Right. By the way, guys, got stopped out on a Bitcoin trade yesterday, hopped into another Bitcoin long, got stopped out on that too. It's just been good times, basically. So I'm going to sit out for the weekend, still have the Solana trade open. Hopefully we do not get this stopped out. If we do, you know what? Stay with you. Like I said, I was swinging over the fences on, man. We're either taking it back to nothing or we are riding this sucker up for guts and glory. We shall see. The way it's looking now, we're going to get stopped out with just a few $1,000s in profit, but we're keeping it open for the time being. Gosh darn it. Going down with that ship. Fuck it. Anyway, if you guys want to trade over in BitUnix with me, of course, as always, link down below. No KYC, no VPN available to anyone, anywhere. That is you, of course. You can trade over there. Go check it out. And check this out. Crazy sign-up bonuses right now. You put in $2,000, you get $400 back. $5,000, you get $500 back. $10,000, you get $700 back. Crazy trading bonuses. And we're going to pay $1,000 every live stream. Today is a live stream, so go check it out if you want to be in for the future live stream giveaways. Okay? So we've taken all the people from this, put it into Grok, who thought for 2 minutes, find the winners. We have 2 winners here. So we can plug them in. Give away $500 to 2 different people. This guy right here. Look at that. Boom. Put in $950. $500 back. So he got a $200 bonus plus $500 back. It's almost all of his deposit back in bonuses. That's crazy. And we got this dude right here. Of course, you have to check your user IDs later to see if this was you or not, and then claim it in your My Rewards Center. Okay. Right here, Stu put in $320. $500 come back your way. Congratulations to today's winners. Of course, we're giving away more money next week thanks to the good guys over at BitUnix. Continuing. This is the big news. Normally, this kind of big news would actually matter for something. Not today. Not today. $11.2 trillion Charles Schwab plans to launch spot in Bitcoin crypto trading in 2026, according to Bloomberg. Great. Wrong day to launch that announcement, but great. Bitcoin currently $105,000 after dipping down as low as $103,500 today. Crazy shit. Now, what I don't like about the Bitcoin chart right now, we are currently trading under the 200-day EMA. Purple line on the chart here, okay? That's the bull bear line. I don't like that. That ain't great, okay? That's bearish. That's bearish, okay? Now, you can see a correction down to here just being a normal correction. Fine, okay? The problem is when you start trading under the 200-day EMA. If bulls don't get their shit together and get us back over that 200-day EMA in the next few days, I think things will start becoming much more worrying, especially if we have one of those bearish underside retests where we kind of rally up to it, but then get rejected and go lower. That's no good, okay? You cannot sugarcoat it. Trading under the 200-day EMA, there's nothing good about that, okay? Just like staying out the bar past 2 a.m., man, nothing good happens under the 200-day EMA, guys. Come on. Now you can see we've had a very strong impulse on this entire move here since April, right? We haven't hit the 200-day EMA one time since then. We can see back here, digging out of September 24, we had a huge impulse before we came back down to hit the 200-day EMA. Now, it's been interesting this cycle is that these moves would normally spell a whole hell of a lot more trouble than they have been for the cryptocurrency markets, right? Obviously, if we drop, let's see, we had 86,000 here. So a lot of the pain was already done by that point, and we dropped another 13%, just to give you an idea of what that would look like, right? So if we were to drop another 13% from the 200-day EMA, brings us back down to, let's say, low to mid 90s, which is not really all that dramatic. But I know what you're thinking. Lark, I don't have a bunch of Bitcoin. I'm all in altcoins. I get it. I know. What's interesting, too, is that if we came all the way down to $90,000, it's only about a 30% correction, which is totally normal within bull markets. The problem with a 30% correction at these levels is that the impulses higher have been so incredibly fucking weak, and they keep getting pushed down. 14 July, very weak impulse into new high. Same on 14 August, very weak impulse into new high. Same here on 6 October, very weak impulse into a new high. Not a huge amount of volume following these moves and not a lot of follow through on these moves. We just kind of limp over to a new high. Okay. Anyway, let's see how it plays over the next few days. 106 currently. I want bulls to get us back over 108. That's the key area to watch. Okay. Yes, Sue, that's correct. Who's asking? I grew up in rural Pennsylvania, man. One of those little coal mining, impoverished towns in the middle of nowhere. You drive through and you blink and you miss it. Very interesting place to spend my first 16 years of my life. Then moved to New Zealand, which was fantastic. The best thing ever happened in my life, I tell you. Now, yes, we live in Dubai, which is also fucking awesome. So let's see what happens here over the weekend, over the U.S. trading hours. Obviously, we had a lot of price drama going into the trading session today. 200-day EMA, that's my key point I'm watching out here for. Now, also want to share with you this, which I got a bunch of stuff on here from back in the day. Look, check this out. This is the weekly chart here. So the 50-week EMA currently sitting at $100,000. Okay. So where in New Zealand, like, well, I spent most of my life in New Zealand living on Waiheke Island, just outside of Auckland. A little bit of time in Auckland, a bit of time in Wellington, like 6-7 years. 7 years, must have been 7 years in Wellington. It's a long time there. Terrible weather. Terrible weather. Love from Australia. The heart of a pumping today. It's one of those days, man. It's one of those days, guys. Holy shit. Now, 50-week EMA has been a very, very critical line this cycle. Okay, look at this. No, seriously, let's go all the way back here. March 23, okay? This is when the tides really started turning for us out of the bear market, okay? What do we see since that time? Very critical. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's actually, no, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 retests so far on the 50-week EMA. It's just down here at 100K. Okay, so you can see we dipped a little bit under, but we didn't close weekly candles except this brief moment down here, which was kind of just early recovery. But okay, if you close a weekly candle under the 50-week EMA, that starts creating a lot more trouble in the charts for us. Okay, that then puts the target in play of, well, shit, the 200-week EMA, which is all the way down here at $65,000 freaking dollars right now, which is not fantastic, is it? Yeah. Yep, not awesome. Anyway, we'll see. If you believe this is the start of the bear market, you will have a very different opinion on 50-day EMA retest versus if you think that, well, the best days of the market cycle is still ahead of us, of course. Right now, we are currently under the regime of a bearish MACD crossover, which happened back here on the 18th of August, which is quite funny because we've actually had, decent price action and almost had that flipped back bullish here, but then we failed, of course, because all the drama started happening last week. Interesting. So she stack, if you hold Ethereum, you need to see this. East MACD is flipped red on the weekly time frame. If this signal is confirmed at the weekly close, historically leads to into a pattern of a drop, a bounce, and then a further drop. Losses range from 18 to 80%. Mickey Bull, MACD bearish cross on Ethereum to trap the bears potentially. It occurred in 2020 and was followed by a massive rally. He's referring to this back here where we had a fake out for a few weeks before rallying dramatically higher. The problem with that, even that little fake out there, is that we still saw lower prices before things started turning back around and we rallied much, much higher. Okay. ETH on the daily, $3,800 now. Key price point here, $35.50. That's the 200-day EMA. Okay. Now remember, guys, I was telling you the other day, We've been talking about this all week. Bearish underside retest on the 50-day EMA. That's what we got, unfortunately. Playing out so far, sadly. You know, we had the big dip. The rally failed to regain momentum. Okay. So what we have to watch out for now for BTC, for ETH, for Solana, we're going to look at the chart briefly here, is that when we rally back up, we need to get above this. This is our key line around 42.75. And of course, we need to actually get above the 50-day EMA. What you don't want to see is a rally that kind of comes up like this, gets to like the 20-day EMA, and then goes back down here. And then comes back up like this, and then goes back down here. That, of course, is a clear downtrend. Means prices will be going a lot lower in that scenario. You need to see strength get shown in the market, take out the 20-day EMA, and take out this level right here for the bulls to get back in charge. Currently, the bears are running the show here, okay? $3,800 on ETH currently. Weekly ETH charts. Currently, we are looking at a 20-week EMA retest. Also, very interestingly, if you draw this nice line right here, okay, right from the previous market peak, right on down, connecting it up, we're basically retesting that major trend breakout, multi-year trend breakout, okay? The question now is, of course, if we can actually regain and maintain that line. Now, a 20-day EMA retest currently happening. First one on this major move up, by the way. Just point that out. First one on this move up. Let's go back to our previous cycle here. So this is 2020, okay? The world had ended. It was all over. We went up. Nice little rally. Came back down to retest 20-day EMA from $430 all the way back down to $300. The world was over. It had ended, okay? Who knows what even happened back then in August of 2020 to freak everybody out. But that's what happened, okay? 20-week EMA retest. Price is shot higher. 20-week EMA retest. Price is shot higher. Not quite, but almost 20-week EMA retest. Again, retesting 20-week EMA. This is July. It was a pretty big crash, though, from $4,000 down to 50% drop to the 20-week EMA before, of course, pushing higher then. So multiple retests are normal, okay? They are normal. The problemo we are dealing with right now, though, also, of course, is the weekly MACD momentum favoring the bears right now, okay? We did get overbought here briefly on the weekly, but just barely, man. ETH's been price-wise very weak in comparison to how other coins have been putting in overbought tops and stuff like that. Anyway, momentum has definitely shifted here for a lot of coins with weekly MACDs looking like that, which is not great, okay? Now, we've been in a MACD uptrend since May. These things take a long time to build up on the weekly, and they take a long time to unwind on the weekly. So if you are on the bull side here, what you need to see very, very quickly is this to get invalidated by the next 2 or 3 weeks, okay? Or we start looking at much lower prices. The 200-week EMA is down here at $2,500, by the way, okay? Milk Road in 2017, 2021, altcoins bottomed out against Bitcoin in October, then ripped over 400% in the months that followed. Yep, it was all over. It was all over here too. And then it rips higher. Hey, just in case, just to make you guys feel better, Eric Trump would like you guys to know that he's made over $1 billion between dumping Trump coin and dumping World Liberty Fi and whatever other crazy shit they've been doing. I don't get it. Why are they confessing? They're not confessing. They're bragging. Chris Berniski, increasingly convinced last Friday's massacre broke crypto for a while. Hard to quickly develop a sustained bid after such a meltdown. This cycle has been disappointing for most, which can paralyze action as people hope for bluer skies or former all-time highs. It's easy to get caught up in chart minutiae. When looking at BTC and ETH and linear monthly, it reveals we're still in elevated ranges, although showing cracks. If you're thinking of taking profits, MicroStrategy slipping, gold is sending a warning, as are credit markets, and stocks will be the last to get the message. We can always get another weak bounce, but have taken action accordingly. Remember, it's never all or nothing when raising cash. I want to see how BTC responds to 100K. We'll likely get interested in the market again when we see 75K or lower. This bull was different, and the next bear will be different too. Interesting. Interesting thoughts there, right? Of course, nobody's got a crystal ball. But here's the interesting thing too. We are at elevated prices for these assets. The problem is that Look like ETH, for example. Well, the best we could do was a couple $100 over the previous all-time high. And look, I get it, man. I get it. ETH's been a tough asset this cycle, but even though we're at elevated prices now, we've not really broken through on many of these coins. Most of the stuff that's pumped this cycle just been random 1 week, 2 week narratives. Clarity, I think the most depressing part about timelines is that feels like I'm seeing all this question whether we're even holding these assets anymore just because the other sectors are currently outperforming, as if we hadn't had our time before, as if the opportunities in crypto, generational wealth creation events happening multiple times a year happen anywhere else for an average person. I'll never turn on the industry. It gave me everything and only provide more when the sun comes out to shine again. And it will. It always does. The others chart. The others charts. This is all your altcoins outside of the top 10. And I was looking at this today, I was blown away. So since July, all the altcoins outside of the top 10 have essentially done fuck all. They've gone from 260 billion to 340 billion. It has bounced within that very tight range. There's been no breakout. Nothing's really happened. They all went to zero fucking last week, dropping from 330 billion to 150 billion in a few minutes and then bounced back up, of course. Right now, if they drop another 12%, they will be back down to the 200-week EMA, critical line in the sand for the bull market cycle to continue. You can see so far this cycle since 2023, we've tested that 1, 2, 3, 4 times, 5 times, sorry. So just another retest or the beginning of the end. Well, there's your proving line. Problem is, by the time the 200-day EMA confirms a breakdown, 200-week EMA confirms a breakdown, it's already pretty late. It's a problem. Also problematic that we have a weekly MACD bearish crossover showing momentum, again, going in the absolute wrong effing direction. Last times we've seen this happen, have seen significant drawdowns in the prices here, okay? 40% drawdown in all altcoins together, okay? Huge moves down, we're talking here. 56% here. So if that were to be the case again, we'd be in for some real bullshit. The problem is that we didn't even get any higher than December last year. So that was a big altcoin impulse. Since then, like fucking nothing's happened, which is crazy. So if we were to get just a 37% drop from peak to trough, that would be within the normal range of how these dips have been happening. But gosh darn it, wouldn't be any fun, would it? Solana back at 181. Hey, can we have a double bottom here? Could we? Can we dream of a dream? Look at this. Look at that. What if that happened, huh? What if that happened? Boom, breakout beyond 205. Let's go. Let's just hold our horses to the next to see if we can reclaim the 200-day EMA first. Okay, that's around $187. Daily close back up there would be fantastic, or as long as we can get back there within the next few days, that'd be fantastic. If we start accepting price under the 200-day EMA, no bueno, man. No bueno. Sol on the weekly. MACD bear cross coming in. Red line, October's barely half over, I agree. Look at past Octobers. They bleed and then pump out. They bleed in, then pump out. Not even worried, just giving more buying opportunities. Love the attitude, man. Love the attitude. And that's the thing. This is the thing about retests, okay? Testing the 50-week EMA, testing the 20-week EMA. It's effing scary, man, because the reality is if it fails, you're in the shit. If it bounces, you're golden. That's the tricky part, right? Crypto, man. Crypto. Anyway, we shall see here if this confirms. If it does confirm, we could easily see it reverse very quickly, but you need to see it reverse quickly. Again, the more price gets accepted below these key moving averages, the more likely it is that further downside comes, okay? Anyway, sold $182 currently, defending the 50-week EMA once again, okay? Pump fun. Elon, man. So it's my time to deploy some of that $1.4 billion y'all are sitting on. It's crazy, actually. They now have the pump fund treasury, still, of course, burning millions of dollars a day, $1.5 million, something a day, which is now 50% probably plus of the current market cap will be burned in the next year if these numbers continue. But they're also sitting on $1.4 billion in cash, which is more than the current market cap of the coin. It's crazy stuff. Penguin coin. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Interesting. Could we be seeing? Let me see here. Lower price. Higher RSI. The daily candle's not closed. It's still 13 hours to go before the daily candle closes. Okay. But could be a bullish divergence forming up. Not bad. Not bad. Oh, we need to get to your question. I've been rambling for a half damn hour here. We got to get to your questions, guys. Trying to cover all the important stuff here. I hope that's been helpful. We'll go a bit longer with the Q&A session today as well. By the way, if not signed up to the newsletter yet, it's free. It's awesome. There's a link down below. Go check it out. Okay. Gosh darn it. Time to red light hat on. Let's go. I suspect this month you've lost more than many here will earn in our lifetime. Well, it's all unrealized losses, let's say. It's interesting. I was looking at my portfolio today, and some of the things are down quite a bit. Other stuff's still up big time. So it's, 6 of one, half dozen of another. But like I said, we're watching very keenly to see how the daily close, the weekly close comes in this week. I think that's going to give us a lot of indication about where the trend could be going next. Okay. Now, the upside right now, by the way, China and USA make a trade deal. It's probably going to happen. Right? I doubt that Trump and Xi go into a meeting and come out and be like, fuck you, man. No, man, fuck you. And then this fucking giant trade war for years on end, and everybody gets, what is it? Everybody's cutting their nose off to spite their face. Humzor, don't trust YouTubers. They don't know jack shit. Humzor, I got an important one for you. Don't trust anybody. I'm a big preacher of personal responsibility and you guys making your own decisions. Okay. I'm not here and I have never been here to tell you what to do with your money. Okay. Very importantly. And I say that all the time. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. Okay. I'm not here to tell you what to buy, when to buy it, when to sell it, all that kind of stuff. I'm here. I talk about my opinions on stuff. I share things I'm looking at in the markets. I share my trades. I share my investments. Okay. And what I'm doing with my money. I don't know what the hell you should do with your money, man. I don't even know you. You're just a dude on the internet. I'm also just a dude on the internet. Okay. But here's the thing. Don't trust anybody. You got to make decisions for yourself. Okay. And the sooner you stop borrowing conviction from YouTubers or talking heads on TV or anybody else, the better you're going to do. Okay. Anyway, what was I saying? Right. China and USA, they're going to make a trade deal. Rate cuts are going to come. Okay. Quantitative tightening is going to end. This banking crisis, most likely, much like in 2023, will spook the markets for a few days, maybe a week or two. And then the government backstops all of it. The big banks absorb the smaller banks. Everything's fine and everything pumps again. Okay. Next few weeks should be pretty telling for how everything's going to play out. If in the next few weeks we get even more bearish confirmations, then we could be in for a rough ride for a little while. If in the next few weeks all of that above stuff gets resolved, it's all bullish for the markets. Okay. Okay. I went on holiday last week, hoping I'd come home when all this had blown over. Not yet. Not yet. Sell your bags, take what gains you can. I'm happy with 4X. Chris, if you're happy with 4X, man, that's great. I mean, shit. Those are huge gains, brother. Congratulations. It's really wine. Don't let him fool him and tell you it's water. So I'd say if anything, it'd be vodka, Nice, clear. Vodka, the working alcoholics drink, Very low scent, easy and quick to drink, effective. Anyway, continuing. I feel like Aster at the current price, the bargain of the century. Look, Aster's got some pretty aggressive buybacks. I doubt the Binance's. I know Binance is getting a lot of heat about their role in the big sell-off last week. Seems some things did break on Binance potentially during that time, but they came out swinging. They're giving back much money to traders and stuff like that. And anyway, all that aside, I think that Aster's probably a pretty decent bet if you're into the perpetual swap DEX narrative. Aster or hype? Okay. Aster's still quite undervalued by comparison and doing pretty solid fucking revenue. So, Lark, you need to buy a green light hat. Ha 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 ha. Not scared, still bullish. Rate cuts on the 29th. That's it. More rate cuts coming, guys. Now, just saying, but Lark, when they cut rates, it leads to the Armageddon, except in the 1990s. I think the 1990s are best parallel for what's happening right now. In the 1990s, bull run saw all kinds of drama. But the rates were very high. The Fed lowered the rates from like, I can't remember. They pulled back on rates. I think they're up like 6%. They pulled them back to like 4%, and they stayed pretty high for the entirety of the bull run. But they didn't pull back on them. They were able to cut rates without cutting them to zero. Now, if we start cutting rates basically to zero, that means a crisis has happened. People are like, we need to have quantitative easing. QE and rate cuts at zero means you have to go through a horrific crisis first, and everything's going to go down more than you can possibly imagine. Okay? Rate cuts when the GDP's cooking, okay, and everything's generally okay in the economy. I know the labor market's a bit weak, but overall, things are okay, right? Drink vodka is not that bad, right? Already regretting not taking out more profits. Just going to ride her out. Hopefully still have our altcoin season. Yeah, just take like a piece of paper right now, like write a note on it, like, next time you think you're a genius, take profits, and put it on your computer. Just remember that. I love the it's over call. It just means we go higher. The bull run will end when you least expect it. That's right. Bull runs end when you least expect it. Now, look, there has been some froth in the market recently, but I don't think there's been massive euphoria. Stocks have been doing well, and there's been some big winners over there, and people have made some money, but crypto has not done very well as a whole. Obviously, there's been some exceptions to that. The gold euphoria is getting pretty crazy right now, and the mania of people like literally lining up for hours to buy the Pico intergalactic top on gold is entertaining. Anyway. Lark, show us your portfolio. You can always see my portfolio all the time. Hey, real quick, haven't done it yet. If you want to see my portfolio, link down below. It's always there. You can go see my portfolio, and you can go and see it on the pinned comment next too. Plus, there's a risk statement there because you probably figured it out by now. I say it all the damn time, but it's true. Investing in crypto is risky. You can lose all your money, and past performance not equate to future returns. There you go. No. The YouTuber said to send him my wallet so he can fill it. Look, if you're sharing your public address, okay? So when you go into your wallet and you click receive, that's your public address. You can share that with anybody, right? If they're asking for like your 12-word or 24-word seed phrase, they're a scammer and they're gonna steal your shit, okay? If they're asking you to get on a Zoom call, they're a scammer and they're gonna steal your shit. If they're asking you to click a link, they're a scammer and they're gonna steal your shit, okay? The only thing that's ever okay to share is your public receiving address. You just read the news and charts. I do read the news and charts, Don. I do. If that's not what you're interested in, don't tell you. I get my interpretation of the charts, my opinion on the news, how I'm reacting to it in the market. What more do you want, Don? What more do you want? I know, man. It's a tough day. People are hurting. I feel you, buddy. Australia, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Australia's looking to insert themselves on the rare earth mineral games. I'm glad I own a bunch of Australian miners. Should probably buy some more. Could be a chip in Trump's hand to bargain with the when going to the table. Yeah. Have you been told you're reminded of Kith Gill? Kith Gill. The heck is that? I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. Gold has topped, maybe. Like I said earlier in the show, it's getting near, man. I get, irrational blow off top euphoria mania can sometimes last longer than you think it might. But likely the top's getting closer on gold than it's not. I mean, look, let's say you go out and buy gold today for 40, 350, right? I think that's around what's trading at right now. And you're going to ride that up to $5,000. Well, you're going to go buy real gold. You're going to pay a 2 to 3% spot premium. Okay. Then you're going to sell to $5,000. Probably not. But let's say in theory, you're going to, okay, I'm going to swing it and sell to 10 grand, man. It's a big amount of risk for a very little amount of reward. Because again, you'll still have to take a 2 to 3% hit on the spot premium price, right? On spot price, there'll be a premium for it. So you lose on that trying to catch, I don't know, about 10% move or something like that, a 12% move. You're going to pay almost half that back just in premiums. I like gold. Big fan. Not rushing, not buying here. It's overall going homeless, guys. Oh, no. Let's get to the moon or halfway there. Let's go. Let's go, man. People mad at Lark like they didn't ask for this bullshit president. Man, Eric Trump coming out being like, guys, it's okay. We made $1 billion on crypto by dumping Trump coin and dumping World Liberty Fi and raising shit tons of money for our treasury company and stuff. It's wrong time, Eric. It's wrong time, buddy. We don't want to hear that shit right now. How much money are we giving for a kidney? Keep your kidney, man. Keep your kidney. You're going to need it later. Is this the worst bull run? No. I don't know. They're all like this. The question, of course, now is that the 4-year theorists, everybody's now worried. This was the top. October 6th, I think, was 524 days or something. So a potential top zone for BTC. So now, of course, the question is, well, shit, is that it? Is it over? Are we going to go to zero? Is this the start of a new bear market? And it's going to, a year from now, we're going to be in absolute Armageddon zone. Again, like I've said very extensively in this video, watch the charts, okay? We are right now coming in for critical retests on extremely critical EMAs for the majors, okay? If those fail to hold as support, then we have a different conversation on our hands. If they bounce, bull market's still on. It's basically that simple. Sold all my BNB yesterday for ETH and SUI. BNB is cooked for this cycle. Best time to sell. Maybe. Certainly I could see that, SUI would have more upside. ETH and BNB, I mean, look at it this way. Especially if you're feeling bearish on BNB, it's interesting. Especially if you're feeling bearish on BNB. I get it. In that situation, ETH and BNB probably have pretty similar upside, man, to be honest. Lark is like, top 3 crypto YouTubers with the biggest charisma. Yo, appreciate it. Thank you. Don't worry, guys. The family got rich. Never bet against the family, huh? I'm never buying anything that the Trump family puts out again, man. I tell you. Bought Block, which was like, it's going to be like a beta play to World Liberty Fi. Just wrecked. Should have just thrown my money out the window. At least some of it might have blown back in. Lark, wake me up when it's over. Will do. I held my stocks in real estate through many dips, such as 1981 and also 2008. I'm seeing the space very similar in many ways, less than a year in, and buying quality and holding is simple. There you go. From a veteran, guys. A veteran in the markets. Gosh darn. Markets will always dip, and then they always go up more later. Lark, I'm so close to buying a house. I'm up in ADA and H-bar and can use the money. Man, that's a tough one. Like, I don't know. Here, I guess, look. Having a place to live is pretty cool. Just going to put that out there. Obviously, buying at the wrong time in the market. So, but a lot of properties down in a lot of places. There's been a lot of housing market corrections. If it means nuking your entire crypto portfolio to buy a house, then I understand why you want to keep pushing the envelope a bit, right? Conversely, if you can just remove a few positions and get yourself a house if you're in profit on those positions. I mean, I can see it. Not house advice here, right? But like, just, you know, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't buy a house, maybe you should rent. Like, it's pretty cool, man. I don't know. Kind of like it personally. Just, I think Astra's a good buy right now. Just saw they already have an app in the Play Store. There you go. Do we just hold and wait? Of course, everybody can make their own decisions. For me, I am currently just waiting, holding. I think there comes an invalidation point on, which we've shared here, on some of these positions. Like, I would not have a problem with exiting my ETH position if it loses the key support, for example. I'd exit and profit. It'd be fine. We got to that nice and early. I'd close the trade and take the cash, move on, and wait for it to show strength again. There's a couple altcoins that I still have in my bags that are, let's say, lower conviction altcoins that are still in big profits. And I could see cutting those too, just to add them to my cash in case I think things are going to get dramatically worse. But again, we're right now at retests. We need to see bounces from the retests. If we lose the supports on these key levels, it's a different conversation, okay? Lark Global Liquidity Index suggests the run could last until mid-2026. Yes, I agree. Also, think about like the business cycle, ISM, PMI, stuff like that. Like the business cycle tops when the ISM PMI hits 60 to 65. It's currently at 49, which is technically in a contraction, although minorly has been going up slightly. So really, things have barely started for that. Doesn't mean we can't see more bullshit happen before that starts into expansion. But normally what you want to see is that crossover 50. It takes about a year or so to grind up to a peak of around 60 or so, and then we have our galactic top for all assets. Again, we are right now living through a very specific event, which is this banking crisis, which is rattling the markets today, which will probably end up being a nothing burger. Famous last words, Lark. It's going to be the end of all things. It's the Lehman Brothers all over again, which is exactly what I heard about the 2023 banking crisis. And then it kind of ended up being kind of a nothing burger because the government stepped in and bailed these guys out. None of these guys are, this is not Lehman levels stuff yet, right? But look, cracks in the financial system worry people. The gold rally is actually worrying for people, and for good reason. Gold doesn't just generally do this shit without having sort of a lack of confidence in the system, let's say. Now, of course, we're getting into the mania phase, which is a bit different. Okay, let's catch up in the chat here. Lark is official. Avantis also has a buyback program. Oh, nice. Did I know this? I feel like yeah, I think we talked about that. Have they implemented it? I remember the dev, we quoted like the dev on a tweet saying like, oh yeah, we're gonna do a buyback program, but I can't remember if they had any official announcement about it yet. So Juan Lee, hit me up down here in the chat here, man. Has this, so it's been confirmed, I guess. What is the percentage of buybacks they're gonna be doing? That's probably one of the interesting things. So that could be definitely a dark horse play for the perp dex market, considering especially where it is on the how the prices are right now. Black Swan events are daily occurrences, right? I know what you're thinking. It's like that meme where it's like, you know, the guy's putting the zero back on the thing, you know, days since traumatic events in the market, 0. 4-year cycle every single time. Solana hit all-time high, ETH and BTC as well. Just not alts, which nobody wants to have. Does not mean we get an extended cycle. No, Michael, look, I completely agree that just because we didn't get the price performance out of ETH, BTC, and Solana that we hoped we would get, does not in itself mean that an extended cycle should happen. Completely agree. Okay, just because you didn't get the price targets you're hoping for, like we've been talking about, okay, 250K BTC, and this would be, if 126 was the top, then we didn't even get 100% gains versus the previous cycle peak. Maybe. Look, got to be open to all ideas, right? And I don't talk about the idea of an extended cycle based on that, right? It's based on the macro conditions, the global liquidity, the rate cuts, all this kind of stuff, right? CapEx, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Things you talk about here all the time. Let's all go watch margin call in the Big Short tonight. Lark, I feel like we need to hit extreme fear in CoinMarketCap before we head back up. I feel like we're in a pretty deep fear zone right now, to be honest. So let's see. I mean, everybody got fucked last week, and then here we are. J-Man, appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. One or two more here, guys. I'm going to finish up for today. Man, everyone's freaking out. Deja vu from last sec. Remember that the shorts are also getting wrecked. All this dust will settle. This too shall pass. Go touch grass. Yep. Yeah, that's the tricky part, isn't it, MJ? Extended cycle, 4-year cycle. It only gets proven definitively 6 months from now. So we'll see. Oh, look at this. Watcher Guru just in. Trump says no when asked if China tariffs will stand. Of course it's going to be the taco trade, man. Look, the spark that set off this downtrend was the China stuff, right? The gasoline that got poured on the fire last night was the banking crisis. But I don't know. I look at a lot of this stuff. I'm just like, of course, China and the US are going to make a trade deal. They have to. It doesn't benefit anybody not to. Everybody loses in a trade war. Everybody wins when they make a deal. Trump wants, come on, man. Come on. Look, you know, he wants to act tough. He wants to be the tough guy. He wants to come out and say, oh, we're so tough on China. Xi Jinping, he's my great friend. He's a great negotiator. And he's just such a tough guy. We got the best deal for America. Huge win for America. I'm the best. Art of the deal, baby. Of course. Right? He brings home a win. Everybody wins. Trade war, nobody wins. And everybody knows that. Okay. It doesn't mean they won't do it. It doesn't mean there's not a chance that it happens, but the most likely scenario is resolution, a positive resolution. The banking crisis probably being overblown in a market that was looking to find reasons to correct anyway. So we've been grinding slowly and higher, especially the equities, right? Grinding slowly higher, but without a lot of conviction in the moves. Some of these AI stocks and data center stocks and stuff getting massively overextended. Pullbacks are healthy, okay? And there's always a spark that gets that to happen and brings down leverage a bit and brings things back down a little more to reality. Doesn't mean the run is over. Again, need to watch key levels, okay? Okay, one more here. Start of the bear market. Time will tell. Trump doesn't know what the heck he's doing. Bada bing, bada tariffs. Let's go. Trump effed it all up. Art of the fart, baby. Did you ever watch Simon? I haven't watched Simon in a while, but Simon's a cool cat, man. A lot of respect for Simon and all the stuff that he does. It's the vodka. Nothing shaking on Shakedown Street, Expat and Avignon. What's up, man? Anyway, we're gonna finish up there, guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate your time today, and I'll see you back in the next live stream on Monday. We got some good videos coming up over the weekend. I hope they're still gonna be totally relevant for the weekend, but we'll see. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Peace.